interception. Right? The ball, turn it over the ball. And, you talk about the stat line where they talk about, the plus minus turnover ratio and things like that. And most times, if you're on the negative side of that, you don't really win football games, but Jalen has. I look at it like this. Jalen, in his first few years as a quarterback, and I think Ike alluded to this a little bit yesterday, he didn't throw the ball as much. So much so, the year I think that we went to the Super Bowl, his passing attempts were about the same as Marcus Mariota's. And that's the stat that I would like to point to every time I talked about Jalen. And the biggest difference was between Marcus Mariota in that year and Jalen Hurts was that Jalen had a winning record and Marcus Mariota didn't. And he just looked horrible.
All right, well, anyway, who you just heard is Hugh Douglas, former great defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles. That station is WIP, the local, one of the local radio stations that deal with sports. And the topic, again, Jalen Hurts. I don't know what's going on with this, man. But what's happening is Jalen Hurts right now is just doubted by many of the Philadelphia media and many of the Philadelphia Eagles fans. Doubted. And, I've talked about this a little bit, why I think that is, and why I know that is. But specifically right now, you got dudes questioning whether or not he's even a top 10 quarterback in the league. You got this one dude in the morning saying that Jalen Hurts is just a slightly above average quarterback, that he's really closer to average than just slightly above average. That's the type of stuff you got going on. And when you ask them why, first thing they go back to the same weak stuff they've been saying. Well, he doesn't have like this elite arm, whatever the hell that is. Bro, listen, man. All these quarterbacks in the NFL pretty much make the same damn throws. In terms of, like, when you talk about a long ball, which is pretty about 40, 50 yards. Nobody's throwing 70-yard passes. You throwing a pass 40 yards, 50 yards. You can throw an out route. You can throw a wheel route, an in route, right? All the quarterbacks in the NFL, if you're starting, you can make all those throws. Now, people gush over certain arms. Aaron Rodgers' arm. I'm not even going to lie. When I'm watching Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, God damn, how did he just throw that ball? I'm not even going to hold you. When I look at some of the throws that Brett Favre used to make, like, whoa, Dan Marino, yo, Warren Moon used to make some throws that's like, what? So I get it. But at the end of the day, does Jalen Hurts' ball get to the target more often than not? I mean, significantly more often than not, yes. I never thought he was like some inaccurate thrower. Now, the problem Jalen Hurts has had is that it's timing. But how does timing come about? Is it just something that some guys have over other guys? Not really. Timing comes as a result of working a particular system or working at throwing the ball at a particular receiver during a particular route and getting it, depending on the type of route it is or whatever. You can throw a guy open, so throw it, just a foot before him. Where in your mind you're also calculating the speed of the receiver so that he can get there right to it, and it helps him to get away from the defense. That's the highest super third level quarterbacking. Is Jalen Hurts there? Nah, not yet. But what young guy is there? Show me a young guy that comes into the league that's just throwing them receivers open and all of that. Now, I get it. You'll see Jalen Hurts in his fourth year starter. And that's fine. He's got to get But this is the thing that people always forget with Hurts. Jalen Hurts never works in the same system consistently. Never the same coordinator. Since college, he's had a different coordinator every single season. But let's look at this. When did Jalen Hurts have his best year? 2022. Now, 2022, right, is the first time in his whole career that he had the same coordinator for more than 1 year. That was Shane Steichen. So he gets Shane Steichen first. 2021 he comes in. It's Jalen Hurts' first year starting. Matter of fact, Nick Sirianni was kind of running the offense a little bit in the beginning. We went 2-5, 2-6. Made the switch to Steichen. So he had Steichen for that half a season. And then coming into the next year with preparation and everything, hit the floor running with that offense. And the Eagles were smart, actually, starting Jalen Hurts off with an RPO offense. Why? Because what you want to do is identify what does this quarterback do well right now. And I like that. That's smart. A coach, one thing a coach has to be is he has to be like proficient in the art of war. He has to be proficient in the art of war. If you don't know what the art of war is, you need to go get Sun Tzu's book called The Art of War. You got to get that and read that. Then you understand where I'm about to go. A coach has to understand conditions. He has to understand situations. He has to understand personnel. Right? So if you have a young quarterback like Jalen Hurts, that was smart. You brought in the RPO system. That was very smart because you were going to already have him comfortable. The comfort of a quarterback is very important. And Chicago Bears and these different places, they need to start listening. Because that's the difference between what's going on in Washington and what's going on in Chicago. Some people jump on the gun thinking, Daniels is just better than Caleb. Listen, he could be. But it could also be the fact that Chicago is trying to get Caleb to play an offense he's never played before. Pro-style offense, pro-set, no college concepts. Whereas over there in Washington, what they giving young boy Daniels? They giving him pretty much the same offense he ran at LSU. So he already coming out looking better. Why? Because he's comfortable. You understand? All right. So I like what they did with that. But now Jalen Hurts is now moving on to away from the RPO. So when they brought in Kellen Moore, what they doing? I like the approach. Combine the two and just start slowly moving away. As he gets more comfortable with Kellen Moore stuff, we move away from the RPO stuff. Now let's keep it real. No preseason. And basically all just training camp. Maybe they went and what do you call that? Scrimmaged another team at some point, maybe. But this is not like the old NFL. So Jalen Hurts is dealing with a new offense right now. Kellen Moore, right? New running back, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, why is Jalen Hurts better right now than he was last year? It's very simple. What was Jalen Hurts' weakness last year? I know some of y'all say, well, the interceptions. Listen, interceptions are never a weakness. Interceptions are just a symptom of another problem. You understand? You got to understand the actual sickness in and of itself or the problem in and of itself. And you got to distinguish that from the symptoms of the problem. Interceptions, the quarterback throwing interceptions, especially for Jalen Hurts, is just a symptom. Why? Because throwing interceptions is not Jalen Hurts' profile. You can go way back to college. You can go back to him early as an Eagle. Your opinion of Jalen Hurts should have been formulated before these interceptions came, before it became even an issue. That's why it's not an issue for me. It's not part of his profile, right? And I understand when you out there, we don't understand what percentage of the actual plays the Eagles do work or what percentage of it is just Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown making a play or Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith making a play. Like, some of that's going to happen when you have great players. And for Jalen Hurts, he understands how great A.J. Brown is. So sometimes you just stay on him. Or Devontae Smith, he just calls it giving a guy a chance to make a play. Why? Because he thinks highly of his receivers, just like any of us do. So a lot of his interceptions are those types of things. When the system ain't working, because last year he was in a lot of situations where the system just flat out wasn't working. It wasn't him. The NFL done figured out the RPO system. It worked out in 2022, 2023. Bill Belichick, we faced the first week. Bill Belichick put out a blueprint of how you stop that offense. He did. Take away the big plays by having two safeties really, really deep. That was the first thing he did, right? Then he zoned out a lot of the other routes. You know you ain't got to worry about the slot corner, the slot receiver. So there was A.J. Brown and such and such. And then if you're really smart, you know that oftentimes you had to play the slant to the A.J. You know, like certain things you just know. Bill Belichick kind of put that out, and we struggled all season because people pretty much had the offense figured out. We were winning 10-1. Why? Because of Jalen Hurts, honestly. And then there was other little situations where the defense stepped up, like Jalen Carter is the reason we beat Tampa Bay last year, stuff like that. But for the most part, Jalen Hurts, he was just pulling out all types of just victories at the end. Right? Like, let's not forget who Jalen Hurts is, man. I'm talking to Eagles fans. All y'all, that's not Eagles fans, y'all haters. I'm not worried about y'all. Eagles fans, I'm talking to y'all. Jalen Hurts is that same guy that in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter when we were down after the Chiefs got the lead, who got that damn 2-point conversion after throwing that bomb to Devontae Smith. That's who we talking about. That's who Jalen Hurts is. When Jalen Hurts got that 2-point conversion, that's Jalen Hurts. That's who we talking about. The way you felt about that dude in that moment when he did that, that should be your opinion of him. At his highs. Forget about the lows. At his highs. Because we only worry about the highs, Super Bowls. Can this dude win us a Super Bowl? We should know that the answer to that is yes. We know that about Jalen Hurts. He can do it. So we need to invest in this dude. The Eagles have invested in him. That was a smart move. This dude's weakness last year was what? The blitz. This is the point I'm getting to. The blitz was his weakness. What did Jalen Hurts do, though? Was bad? The coach couldn't give him an answer for the blitz. Kelsey and them couldn't give him an answer for the blitz. The offensive coordinator, I don't know whether he had an answer or was hindered or whatever. So what Jalen Hurts do? He called up Wink Martindale. And he said, damn, bro, y'all just kept stopping us, blitzing me. How do I beat your blitz? Come on, bro. My man ain't got knowledge of a particular thing. He got a weakness. He on it. What type of quarterback you want? You want a dude that just throws sidearm, or you want a dude that really works on his weaknesses? When I heard Jalen Hurts did that, I'm like, yeah, that hurts. So he found out about it, and he working on it. And right now, he's just way better against the blitz. So that's how I know Jalen Hurts is getting better. Because we identified a weakness and he got better. All that stuff about his arm and all that, that's imaginary stuff that are just based on opinions y'all have. That ain't the problem. Decision making and all that, yeah, you're right. You know, but what's the bad decision? Yeah, let me give Devontae Smith a chance to make a play. Is that really bad decision making? You know what I'm saying? Especially in a game when you're struggling, and you know what I mean? Or giving AJ a chance to make a play. That's really bad decision making. All right, maybe you could have made a better throw, you know, whatever. But like, come on, man. His decision making ain't as bad as they trying to make it seem. All he doing is, all right, let me give AJ and such. Now the problem is there may not be enough accountability. Because how can Nick Sirianni hold Jalen Hurts accountable when he out there going for it on fourth downs recklessly? You see what I mean? So Sirianni might not even have a problem with Hurts doing that because the mentality in the room seems to be these guys are willing to take risks. That's just the type of team we have right now. Sometimes it's going to help us, sometimes it's going to hurt us. They got to do a better job of figuring out when and when not to do it, though. But there comes a time when you do got to be risky like that. Right? He should have took them points in the last game because he should have been able to understand the art of war. In that particular game, based on all the conditions present, he should have known to take the points. All the rules that Sun Tzu laid out in the art of war tell you to take the points right there. So yeah, it is that. But Jalen Hurts identified a weakness, worked on it, and he's gotten better. He's one of the better. He actually is completing 70% of his passes. Now, some people say that's check down, but that's cool. We want him to take check downs, right? Either you want him to be smart, so you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, he ain't got the rocket arm, blah, 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 and at the same time, you don't want him to be smart, or you do want him to be smart. Which one is it? Sometimes you want to take the check down. Brendan Covey was getting a lot of passes. Now he gonna be out, so we got to put somebody in that spot. I say put Dotson in that spot. I say give Saquon some of those routes, but we'll see. We'll see what we do against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, I don't know how good they are or whatever. They just coming off a loss. You know, we'll see. But we're going into the game, no AJ. And that's the other thing about Hurts. People don't understand. We played 3 games. We won 2 of them. Only one game was with AJ Brown. The second game was without AJ Brown. And for real, whatever you think of Hurts' performance against the Falcons, Hurts actually played really well against them. If Saquon catches that ball, that game is over. Now, the only thing he did wrong was in the end of the game where all he had to do was play for a kick. I think he just lost sight of that. That interception was unnecessary against the Falcons. But it was like one of them joints at the end of the game that was like, he did enough to win already, so I wasn't too mad at him. But the point is Jalen Hurts is playing really well. For real. I'll debate anybody on that. Anybody want to debate me, Jalen Hurts is playing well right now. All things considered, get at me. Get at me. We could do a live debate. Whatever you want to do. Nah, Jalen Hurts is playing well. Real rap. So that's all I got, man, on that. I get with y'all. And tonight, we got Dallas and the Giants. I don't even care who wins that, to be honest with you. I ain't threatened by either one of them. Peace out.